Oh my
other
gosh, I
cultures?
think like yeah, just I don't know, you just have to deal with shit in like rugby. Like someone's gonna be a dick to you sometimes in rugby, and like you just kind of have to like shove it off and like keep playing. Like I don't know, we were playing a match in Dallas recently, and now that I'm playing second row, I'm playing a little more like physically with players, and this dude just kind of leaned across the ruck and just pushed me and was grinning, so I just got up and pushed him back, and I'm like, I don't know, that would have probably really pissed me off like before rugby. Now I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. It's like it's just part of the, you just deal with people, like they're just trying to get in your head. I
I
don't know.
love it. I love that. Let's see. And does it hurt? That's from Skylar. So, how
I,
do you mentally prepare for getting hit? And how do you keep the hits safer as you get more fatigued throughout the game?
how do we mentally prepare? Honestly, I think the week before getting hit in practice goes a long way, especially like when we do like the drills right before a game. Because yeah, if I don't do something like that, I probably would just be like antsy and worried about it the whole time. But like once you get hit once or twice, it's like, oh, I'm good. Um, so honestly, I feel like in my limited experience, getting hit a few times, I feel like I'll wake up more and be like, all right, I'm more ready for this
That seems to be
now.
pretty common. That seems to be a pretty
Yeah.
common thing that everyone says, that sometimes they prefer to get hit, or after that first hit, they're good.
Yeah, it takes like one or two, and you're like, all right, I'm good. So, yeah,
Mikey.
just keep going.
All right, Chancey, thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Lex.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Michael.
They should know you from the first
Yeah.
look at that face.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I like to tackle people, so I like to hunt. Um, I like to hunt people down. But my philosophy is whenever we start the game, I get my shit rocked early, and then I'm good.
So since you're not a prop, I can't ask you these questions.
I can't answer prop questions. You got second row.
More than a woman. Oh, you too, Lex.
Yes.
Clip to my little shoestring thingy.
Uh, I need to get better lighting. I wonder.
Did you bring sunscreen?
No, I didn't.
All right, my name is Kenny Keever, and I started coming up around Crusaders before they were called Crusaders. So, a little background, there was a lot of club rugby in the Metro between OU, OSU, Oklahoma City, and OU's club side. And then things started to change with rugby. USA Rugby made some rules that weren't really great for smaller clubs. And a lot of people just suddenly got careers and moved away. And so teams like OU's club side, Fort Sill, Tulsa, old Oklahoma City team started losing people. By 2001, the OU club side basically evaporated. By 2003, the old Oklahoma City team evaporated. And the saddest thing is, 2001, I was hitting the peak of my rugby career, and so I just kind of bumped around, played for Fort Sill or Tulsa, whoever I could get with. And around fall of 2006, Steve Martindale and Marcus Berger and Tim Holder, also known as Preacher, got a hold of me and said, hey, you know, we got these guys that were high school players and we're starting a club. Do you want to come hang out, run with us, coach, play, whatever? I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to have a team again. And so we started off, we were practicing kind of on a field pretty similar to this, the Stars and Stripes ball field up there by Lake Hefner. And just, you know, 18 guys playing, practicing rugby, and we would go on Saturdays down and join Fort Sill because they didn't have enough people, and we'd fill them out, and we were just one team that way. And it was pretty good. We made playoffs with Fort Sill, and in the spring after playoffs, we didn't get very far. We were sitting around, played touch, having a beer, whatever, and we were talking about that. We said we could do this. We could make our own team again. So there's club rugby in the Metro, and you know, we can do this. It's not hard. We just got to put in some work. And so there's about 16 to 18 of us that, you know, we elected an exec board. We drew up some documents so we could get our tax-free status, and by 2007 in the summer, we opened for business, so to speak. We became an official team, and our choice then was to join the Texas Unix. We'd already been playing there with Fort Sill, and we thought, you know, at least get it going and have a season or two, see what we think. And that's kind of how it was in the beginning. We didn't have a ton of experience. I mean, even then, I was one of the more experienced guys. But one thing we had was toughness. Every team we played always said, Crusaders, you might beat them, but they're going to hit you. And it's going to be over and over. And so we, you know, we kind of made that our pride.
Technically, I played for Oklahoma City before the Crusaders existed. 2007 was actually my freshman year in college playing for OSU. And Cowboys actually was the first official match, friendly match for the Crusaders, so it's kind of cool. We played sevens before for a few years after the original club split. I have been with the Crusaders since 2008. I've been everything pretty much. Match secretary and president before. I'm currently the old boy representative. I guess I'm technically like the second generation of old boys coming out of the Crusaders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah. There's older than me. I've gotten to do a lot of things with the Crusaders. Of course, winning Texas is always fun. Going to tournaments and winning them, you know, either with the Crusaders or with harlot teams with a bunch of Crusaders on them. I've been around a long time. This is my 23rd season, so.
I can't relate to how long that is, but I've been here for a minute too.
Yeah.
I see people come and go.
Yeah.
So what went into around mid-2007 when the Crusaders started getting formed?
Well, I know we played sevens that year. I guess after I'd gone off to school, there was a bunch of guys that we had played sevens together, and they decided that the year prior, I guess they played for Fort Sill, and they decided that we had enough numbers to actually start our own team. So yeah, we were a team of fours before we were Crusaders, so it's kind of cool. Yeah.
And what was it like getting games when you started? I think I asked Keeper the same thing. And what was it like getting games as a new team?
I didn't do match secretary at that point, but I mean, it didn't seem like it was that hard because we did have more local teams at that point.
That's good.
And so we were able to have friendlies and go to tournaments a lot easier. Like even Fort Sill used to have a 15s tournament every year in the fall that we would go to. Yeah.
Road trips?
A lot of road trips. Like we used to go to the Ozark tournament pretty much every year. I think we've been in Texas D3 for the majority of our existence. We moved up to D2 there for a little while, and then we moved to Mid-America.
And then back, yeah.
And then now we're back in TRU in D3.
Because I remember y'all winning, I think, the D3 championship
we
a
won the
few
D3
years after.
championship in...
Was that 2013?
Yeah, let's see.
It was one of my earlier
11.
years.
I think it was 11.
Because I barely knew y'all, but I traveled down there. No one knew me, but I was still there.
Yeah.
So I knew it was early, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember winning that trophy. That was fun. Muddy.
Yes, it rained so hard.
Yeah, and that clay at Lake Highlands.
I just saw, it's like I was like, I think y'all were ahead, and then it was raining, and things started happening, and the other team started. I was like, y'all still won?
Yeah,
but
I think
man,
it was
that
like
rain.
a 2-point game or something.
I was like, good grief.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am Jim Morgan. I am currently the director of rugby of F5 High School and the head high school boys coach. And I joined the Crusaders in August of 2012.
My name is Katie Morgan. I am currently medical for F5 Rugby Club and the president for Rugby Oklahoma Youth and High School.
So I started with the Crusaders in 2012, August of 2012. I was living in Wichita, and Boeing decided to close down the facility, and I came down here as part of the move. And I figured that's a good way to get back in with the community and make some friends and pick up an Insta family when you move with rugby. And reached out and got the Crusaders practices. It was, I can't remember the name of the field, but it was downtown along the river there. That there's this baseball field that we're right outside of it. Yeah, when I was with Wichita, we had actually played the Crusaders once, actually that season before I moved down. So we met some of the guys. I think Bear was a particularly chatty guy. Yeah, got to talk to Kenny. Yeah, I played against Tom, and me and Tom had some fun against each other propping. But good matches and seemed like good dudes. We got down there and joined up and picked up time and kept on playing. Yeah.
So you got there in 2012.
Yep.
You would become a coach at some point too.
Yeah. So when I joined, the team had just made the jump from D3 to D2. Anthony Pons was coach. Pretty good group of guys. Texas D2, so that made a lot of traveling down to Texas for a lot of different teams. I played through 14 and then started having some back issues, and I figured, you know what, let's give coaching a start. So I started playing or coaching with then Yukon Rugby, which would become F5 in October of 14. I think it was October. Somewhere late 14 for the inaugural game season of 2015. And that time I was coaching, was my full time, but then anytime the schedule would allow, I'd still go jump into the Crusaders and continue playing. So I was kind of dual rolling for a bit. And then 2017, I think, is when 17, I stopped. I made the transition from coaching, being assistant coach for F5 to go on and be the head coach for and director of rugby for the Crusaders. I did 17 through 19 before I needed a break and the pandemic. So it all the world kind of ended there for a bit. And
just a little bit.
Yeah. and then came back out and decided to focus more on the youth.
Katie.
Yes.
There you are. What part have you been playing over the last few years with Jim?
So I met Jim 21 years ago when he was playing for Wichita Rugby for the Barbarians. A girlfriend of mine happened to be dating one of their players, so I went out with her to games and then started going to the bar on Thursday night because I was in nursing school, so I had clinicals from 7 to 7. I'd meet them at their sponsor bar and started talking to Jim. Our first conversation was about Randy Moss and the Minnesota Vikings and our feelings on him. And then it just progressed from there. So as a nurse, I run the medical side. Just kind of stepped in that role. Most teams, especially men's teams, their medical bags are pretty much non-existent. A Band-Aid, some tape. When we moved to St. Louis, it had some Gold Bond and a porno in it. And that was their whole med kit. And so I just kind of carried on as medical and started taking on that role and really developing my skills in that setting because it was a lot of learning on my part. That's not my, the kind of nursing I've done. And then we moved to St. Louis. Then we moved back to Wichita. Then we came here. And then when we moved here, I actually got certified as a coach and was actually the first listed on record coach for the Crusaders women's. Kenny Keever was actually their coach, but was still waiting to get certified and finish that. So I went ahead and put my name to it. So they had a certified coach on their team, which was really cool to see them start from the beginning and be at their first game and all of that. And then followed him to UConn and F5, still in the same capacity, running medical. I have my coaching cert on the sidelines. And then just this last fall, got elected as president for Rugby Oklahoma. So now it's the whole youth and high school for the state of Oklahoma, a few teams in Texas, Arkansas, and Kansas. So expanding my role.
That is a neat put. That's one of the things we were pretty proud of that time, was starting the women's side, for the Crusaders.
Yeah, speaking of which, I did do an interview with Katie, because she was one of the women she's been around the longest. I was joking about her.
She was that first group.
There's so many men in this documentary. I'm like, I've got to get some of them in the second part. And she's like, she did a shout out to you too. She's very fond of y'all, so I thought that was really nice. I'm like, oh, I'm going to interview them next.
Yeah.
My name's Katie Luster. I started playing rugby at college. Actually, my roommate wanted to try it and didn't want to go alone, so I went with her. And on the first lap of warm-up, she had an asthma attack and left, and I didn't. And then she never came back, and I had never quit playing. So I played in college. I graduated. I lived in Northwest Arkansas, and I played for a few clubs out there before they had a team. Moved back to Oklahoma City. I played for the Roses, Oklahoma University Roses, but they were a women's team still. Then they went collegiate, and all us old ladies needed somewhere to go, so the OKC Crusaders men's team took us, and the rest is history. We practiced with the men, played some sevens, I left. Now I'm back, and we almost have a full squad, and we rebranded to the Mountain Boomers.
By chance, do you remember what year that was? I'm trying to get a timeline for these when you came in with the men's team.
2017-ish.
Good enough.
The first year they had us.
I think okay, I can use that. How was it like when you started with the, I guess, Crusaders men's/women's team?
Yeah, so there was probably like half of the women's team at OU didn't have a team anymore, but then only like half of that half actually came to play with the Crusaders. And then some of the high school girls started graduating, so we had some of them, and it was just like, we'll take anyone we can, and we'll practice with the men, and they were pretty welcoming. And but yeah, Jim was the coach at the time. He was really great. Kenny was our coach, our specific women's coach.
Oh, speaking of which, yes, I'm going to be hitting them up too.
And yeah, it was fun. We played in like a developmental league, and we had played sevens and kicked everyone's ass 2 years in a row. So
you did a lot of traveling, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it was all Texas teams, of course.
Okay.
So
when you said, yeah,
it was fun. We got to meet a lot of new people, and we were all in the same boat trying to build teams. So it was fun.
Well, thank you. I think that did round it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, and what's your position do you play?
I play hooker. And my dad's favorite joke is that he raised a hooker.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. He's proud.
Maybe, yeah. All right, Katie, well, thank you so much.
Yep.
Coach?
Yes.
So what are we playing? What are we seeing for this season? What are we want?
Well, our expectations for this year is to continue with team growth, as in having players be out consistently, just like they were last year, and increasing on that. We have quite a few new players that have rugby experience, that have upped the level of our team. And so we had quite a few close calls last year and one blowout. And so we'd like to reverse that and try to go undefeated this year. I think that's a real possibility. So that's
honest, I was, I don't know if you can hear me, you probably can't hear me, but last season I was really surprised because it was going on. We're doing really good this season. So
yeah, our last game of the year we played away and lost by 1 point. It's not a bad way to end the year, other than a win would have been better. So
all right, well, I guess I'll let you off the slide with that.
All right,
that's good. Thank you, Coach.
yes, sir. Have a good.
Pick up you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and yeah, just go ahead and introduce yourself. When you started with rugby, what brought you to rugby, and how long when you started with the team.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
All right, yeah. So I'm Lewis. I've been playing rugby since 1996. Started in elementary school, just like everyone else does in the UK. Not everyone continues it like I did. I'm from South Africa originally, where rugby is religion, and so it was the obvious thing to do. I moved to Oklahoma in 2001. Started with the Crusaders. Been captain the last 3 seasons. Yeah.
Okay. And captain.
Yep.
What would you like to see from the team this season? What are you hoping for?
Yeah. So something that we've had this year that we haven't had in previous years was really good retention of players. We've had a pretty settled squad from last year into this year. And so I'm hoping to improve on that 500 record we got in league play last year. I see no reason why we can't get into the playoffs if we keep the level of commitment up that we've had through the fall. We've got 6 hard games in the spring, but there's no reason we can't win all of them. Yeah, we're on an upward trajectory, but I want to keep going up. I don't think we're plateaued yet.
And all right, Lewis, thank you. We're going to check back at the end of the season and see how this all played out.
All right, thanks, Lex.
Thank you. Let me know when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to start with basically when you started playing rugby, what got you into it, and your position with this team, and what you're wanting to see from it this season.
I started playing rugby in high school at Broken Arrow when I was like 16. So I've been playing for a long time now, and I played in college at OSU, and then I played a little bit professionally in Colorado with PR7s in the WPL. I've used to play for OKC quite a bit from Tulsa, and happy to be back here coaching the girls now. I think this season we're really looking for us to make a stamp as a 15s brand, not just a 7s team. I think that's a big thing for Oklahoma rugby, is we want to expand out of just being 7s, which love 7s, but want to get some real 15s rugby here and bring that back the way it used to be pre-COVID. And so I think the biggest thing that I'm looking for is really for us to have solid numbers to where we're consistently a 15s competitive side by the end of the season. And I think we're shaping up to look good for that, as you can see behind me. So we're looking good, looking promising. We had like I think 6 girls first practice of the season, and now we had 18 the last one of before we stopped for winter break. So this is good numbers and good showing, and we got a tournament in New Orleans coming up that looks like it's going to be a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got a first 15s tournament after our rebrand as the Boomers. So pretty excited for that. I think we have a good chance at winning that out, and excited to be going as a real Oklahoma City Tide, not just a motley crew of Oklahoma teams. So very excited for that.
we are ready when you are. Just speak clearly since we don't have the mics, and how you felt the season went and what you're looking for next season.
I feel like the season went really well. After coming off a rebrand and really like starting anew with almost a new team, being able to come away with a huge win over Tulsa, I think 53-5 was our score at that. That was a huge deal for one of the girls' first 15s games. New Orleans was our first 15s tournament, and we came out with a win in that tournament as well. So it's just been a really great growing season. We swept the sevens tournament we did as well down in Norman. So all in all, I feel like for a group of girls that are just learning the sport like for the first time, we're absolutely having a blast with it and coming away with some wins along the way. And our big hope for next season is really just an emphasis on 15s. We're looking at joining the TRU, Texas Rugby Union D2 conference, and so that's going to provide us the consistency and schedule that we really need in order for retention and also growth to get us to the next level. So we're really excited for that.
I'm sorry I missed that, sweet, but yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Glory.
Absolutely. We appreciate you supporting us so much, man.
Y'all are my family.
Yeah.
Can't say it enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. Thanks for coming out this way for that.
So
It's been really neat to see the UConn players that now play for the Crusaders and like continuing their rugby journey. I'm like, you know, if the people like Katie or Andy had not started that team originally, they wouldn't have had somewhere to go after high school.
Yeah.
And so now they do. And I mean, Claire played for UConn, Jordan, Street.
Yep.
I know I'm missing a few. So Ashley, who's coming up here, she's actually going to be the new coach for the high school girls team. She was the one that started the UConn girls team. Her brother was playing, and she's like, I want to play too, and started bringing out girlfriends. And so she was like the integral portion of that, and then went on to play at SNU. So a lot of the girls have gone on to really cool places to play. Same thing with the boys.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few boys players.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty happy about. And that was one reason when I transferred back to being the coach for the men's, was to have a good landing spot for the boys that were graduating from high school. But from UConn F5, let's see, what was the name of the college? Lindenwood Belleville, we had a couple go there. One transferred to Life.
Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah, well, that was.
Yeah, they're in Life's in Georgia.
Yeah, Life's in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Mount St. Mary's.
Yep, that's Chambray.
Grand Canyon University.
Yep.
AJ played for them.
Oh, what's yeah.
I love AJ, and I love where her road's taken her. Like, you know, she really wanted to play a higher level, so she went over to Little Rock because they are a really good team. So she's their starting scrum half. We've gotten to watch her play on like a national level on TV at home, which is like, you're like, yeah, you know.
That's one of mine.
Yeah, it's it is. There are, we call them our kids. I mean, that's what everyone thinks. I have all these kids, and we don't have any biological children. These are our kids.
Yeah.
But so many people are like, your kid? And I'm like, yes, my kid. Like Barry just having a baby. My kid just had a baby. I mean, that's, you know.
My Care Bear.
Yeah. He's so sweet.
Yeah, Hunter Blanchard, he graduated from UConn, and he's signed up with the SaberCats. He went down with the Falcons to South America. So it's all sorts of pride and joy of watching all these kids come on. Not taking away kids from OU, kids of the Crusaders, got some kids who are playing for Tribes. So pretty much we're kind of infecting the area and actually the country. Just you think about it, if it wasn't for the Crusaders being there, then that wouldn't have, because Eric Gilliland, who started UConn with, and then I helped him, he played with the Crusaders for a bit. So if it wasn't for everyone meeting through that, then this opportunity wouldn't have happened here, which then brings on more kids graduating and moving into all those different areas. And that's where all that generation start coming rolling in.
And coaching themselves. Like that's so Hunter Blanchard is now coaching a high school team down in Houston. So it's like a full circle.
Yep.
And, you know, he called us like when he's like, I'm coaching a team. And because, you know, we only had him for 1 year. He came out the first year for UConn. So we only had him for 1 year, and he actually went and took a football scholarship And then he's like, oh wait, no, like that 1 year of rugby was enough for me. And like then went and got a rugby scholarship and moved teams. So it's really cool to see. Our first year was rough. But these kids that have, come back, I mean, we had Barry our first year, and Leo and Julio and Brian. And I mean, all those kids were, and they didn't win a game. We had 15 kids at every practice. That was it. But they killed it, and they all came back.
You brought up Brian. Brian went to New Zealand for 6 months. We have another guy, Liam, who just graduated last year, went for 6, is actually in New Zealand right now. Another good point about kids that are now moving on to coaching, Hunter Blanchard, and then we got Ashley who's about ready to walk up. We've got Barry who's helping with flag. We've got kids that we've coached now or have played through the Crusaders or what have you, now moving on to become coaches. SNU, we got a lot of kids playing for SNU right now.
Lots of kids playing for SNU, which is, it's nice to be able to go watch them play. We have a QR code if they want to sign up. That way we make sure we get them in touch with the right coach, because we do have flag. Then we have middle school. Girls and boys can play for that. That's co-ed. And then we have high school girls and we have high school boys. So essentially, if you have a kid that can pretty much walk and hold a ball, they can play rugby. It is not centralized to Yukon. They can be any surrounding city that they want. We're not affiliated with the school. So that's why they did change the name to F5, so people realize, like, hey, it wasn't just a Yukon team. Our website, or not our website, our Facebook page, it's real easy to message us on there. It goes to Jim and myself. Or the QR code, which we can put on there, or there's an email address, f5.rugby,
rugbyfc
at gmail.com.
Yep.
You could also
we'll send that to you.
We'll send it.
Yeah.
I can see someone now. That's not right.
I know. But if you message the Facebook page, it also comes to us. So we'll get back to them really quick.
Jim, it's been an honor. It's beautiful seeing you. Oh, one of my favorite memories is, I think Jim thought I just lived on ice cream and cookies and cake for the longest
No, we lived on ice cream.
You did live on ice cream and cookies and cake.
Yeah, we're the only ones at road trip who stopped for ice cream twice.
Yeah. Like it was, and I haven't changed much, but it's been an honor. Love you guys, and we'll see how this turns out.
All right.
Thank you, Lex.
If you need any reshoots, let us know.
All right. Hello, Porter. You're live.
All right.
If you could just introduce yourself.
My name's Porter Cunningham. 36 years old.
Oh.
I've been playing rugby it's my second full season playing rugby. How I joined the Crusaders, just to give you a little bit of backstory. We were out at our favorite pub, Skinny Slim's, one night, watching a little basketball, and I heard these guys behind us on the patio making ridiculous wagers on college basketball. I guess it was about this time.
Was Thaddeus there by chance?
No, he was
okay.
not. Thaddeus was not.
You said
there.
wages, and I'm like,
definitely Lewis and Greg were there.
Okay.
Sorry, Lewis. There was a funny talker in the group. And so I turned around, and Greg had his Crusaders Hawaiian shirt on. And I said, you guys must be a rugby club. And they're like, how did you know that? I'm like, well, you're too big to be soccer players, and you're a funny talker. So, so they invited us to come out and watch the match the next weekend. We did. Chris Haynes invited us to. He was one of the ones that was there. They invited us to the social. We went, and then they said, "Why don't you come out to training?" And so I did, and now I'm here. Now I'm somehow got voted president of the club.
Frodo.
And the reason why I've stayed is because I appreciate being a part of the team. I appreciate the camaraderie. It's more than just a sport for me now. I mean, these are people that I'm really close to. If you know, getting sweaty and in a scrum and physical with a bunch of other guys, you're probably going to get pretty close to them. But we spend a lot of time together off the field, hanging out, doing things, and that's what I appreciate.
And that I like. That has been one of my saving graces. I moved up here years ago, no friends, no family, and I stumbled upon this club. I met Matt Mason, the guy. It was one of the first people I met, and then other guys just started inviting me in, and obviously I've been here ever since. Which we're doing that. And I guess to close out, where would you like to see Oklahoma rugby in the next few years?
Well, we were just talking about, not to time date this, but April 6th is coming up. We've got our last match of the season. We're going to try to play that down in Fort Sill in Lawton. We'd love to see, a Fort Sill club and a Tulsa club stand up on their own. More Oklahoma clubs, the better.
Yeah.
So let's.
Is 6 the magic number?
Let's bring it. 6 is the magic number. Let's bring up a few more men's clubs, and then let's have some nice youth clubs too. I have 2 kids. One of them, my son, is very interested in learning more about rugby and playing rugby, and so
we got Colt and Bigby and X5.
I'd love to have more
Grays,
youth rugby involvement in Oklahoma, but especially in Oklahoma City. So,
all right, Porter. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Les.
I want to shake your hand on camera. I'm
We
going to be on
appreciate
camera.
everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.